Returning to LB562, I think first and foremost we need to consider the economic impact of mandates like this. Ethanol E15 fuel is more expensive to produce than traditional gasoline, and mandating the use of it could drive up the cost of the fuel for consumers, even if they would have chosen it themselves without the mandate. If we let gas stations, the people who run them, the people who know who their consumers are, they know what kinds of cars they drive. A lot of your districts, in some of the smaller towns, these gas stations, they know what kinds of cars their customers drive. They know what the needs are of those people coming to those tanks, to those fuel pumps. And I frankly trust them, just like I trust parents to make decisions about health care with their children, just like I trust women to make decisions about health care with their own bodies. I trust gas station owners to make decisions about what they're going to put in their pumps without the government telling them what that's going to be. If the price goes up because these government mandates have distorted the market, have artificially increased demand for the supply, who's this going to hit most, right? This is going to hit hardworking Nebraskans who are already struggling, who are already trying to overcome the hardships and limitations of inflation, who rely on their cars to get to work and provide for their families. And that's particularly people in rural areas where access to public transportation is already limited. So the way these mandates actually end up affecting consumers is it drives up the cost for everyone because it doesn't let the market work. And yes, I also think it's insane that I have to make this argument to you guys. Furthermore, it's likely as well that mandates like this can have a bad impact on the environment. We know that ethanol is less pollutant in terms of carbon, but we know that it's more pollutant in terms of ozone. So the net savings that you have in terms of cost to the environment isn't actually really there. Ethanol E15 fuel is more expensive to produce than traditional gasoline. One of my constituents emailed me and said, I'm going to get this wrong. So I'll just put it this way. He sent me the information about how many gallons of water it takes to make 1 gallon of ethanol fuel. And it's a high cost. The ratio is crazy. I don't remember if it's 7 gallons or 9 gallons or something like that. The reality is that the production of ethanol consumes vast amounts of water and energy and produces large amounts of greenhouse gases. And this is in addition to the environmental impact of growing the corn that's used to produce ethanol, which is not the same as corn that you eat, as you obviously know. And as we've learned today that many of you are personally profiting off the ethanol industry in Nebraska, and I would like to know if you filed a conflict of interest statement regarding this bill on that. But growing corn for ethanol requires tons of fertilizer, tons of water, and that can contribute to soil erosion and other environmental problems. It can also taint that land if anyone ever wants to use it to grow something else. So we also have to consider the impact of these mandates on our personal freedoms. The whole thing of it for me is the government has no business dictating what type of fuel we can or cannot use in our cars. That's it. And mandating the use of E15 fuel.
1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. For gas stations, telling these business owners and suppliers what it is that they have to sell in their business, it restricts freedom of choice. It limits people's ability to make their own decisions about the profitability of their business. And as Nebraskans, we believe in limited government and individual freedom, and mandating the use of ethanol E15 for gas stations is a clear example of government overreach that we can expect to have negative consequences for the economy, for the environment, and for the personal freedom that we all hold dear as Nebraskans. As Senator Hughes said, this is a bad bill. She believes the amendment will make it better, and we also know that she will personally profit from the passage of this bill. So I think, all in all, it is just a bad bill, and it needs a little bit more work, and it's not ready for general file. Thank you, Mr. President.